It's no secret that Hollywood takes ideas from other mediums to make them into movies. Arguably, they're in adaptation mode now more than ever. As a result, there has been an influx of comic books and graphic novel-based movies generated by the Hollywood machine in recent memory. In the last year, there were 9 major studio films that were based on characters and or stories that were created from comic books and graphic novels. However, there has been some debate on how successful Hollywood is at their comic book movies. Many die-hard comic book lovers will complain that Hollywood will often miss the mark when adapting some of their favorite stories. It's important we find where and how Hollywood screws up adapting a story to the big screen. One infamous example would be Zack Snyder's Watchmen, which is not really a terrible movie in itself, but more just a big misstep.
Unforgettable.
It's a joke. It's all a joke. Oh, forgive me.
And forevermore. That's how you stay.
Now, this is a movie where it's clear Snyder's main focus was capturing the art style of the graphic novel. Many panels from the novel are directly ripped from the pages and thrown on the screen. The color palette and color correction is trying to recreate the art style of David Gibbons. However, many Watchmen fans were disappointed as the substance of the story was gone. This was a graphic novel that satirized superhero comics, using reality to show how ridiculous and dark these worlds would be. Snyder's Watchmen could have been the same for superhero movies. However, it just became another superhero movie, missing the point entirely. Staying on the superhero genre, another common pitfall for Hollywood is cramming too much. For instance, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. Now, giving credit where credit is due, Sam Raimi did not have this problem in the previous 2 movies. However, in trying something new and exciting, he bit off more than he could chew. This movie has 3 villains, all with their own separate origins. It also has a love story, a second love story, a muddled friendship story, and an inner turmoil story, all happening in the same 2.5 hours. This is a lot. Sometimes Hollywood can get wrapped up in how expansive certain comic books and novels are and try to cram all of the good things in at once. Knowing what to cut and condense to create an engaging 2 hours or so is important. Lastly, I think it's important to look at Frank Miller's The Spirit. This was his follow-up directorial endeavor after collaborating with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez for Sin City. Now, this is obviously someone who gets comics, so it's safe to say Frank Miller understood the material. However, what he doesn't get is film. This was him working on a feature film without any experienced filmmakers at his side. Now, I know it's popular for Japanese mangakas to be directors in animation. It's not common in Hollywood, and maybe for good reason. Creators and audiences need to understand that the mediums are ultimately different, despite the similarities they share. A renowned creator in comics can't expect to replicate that onto the big screen and succeed. It takes a talented and experienced filmmaker to take material and adapt it to a new medium and get as close to the original experience. After reviewing these common pitfalls in Hollywood, these 3 tips stuck out. Understand the point of the material. Know why fans resonated with the source.
I can't believe we made it.
We graduated high school. How totally amazing.
Don't include all of it. Know what to cut and what is important to include.
If you want something bad, you have to fight for it. Step up your game, Scott. Combo. Break out the L word.
Lesbian?
The other L word.
Lesbians?
And lastly, get talented and experienced filmmakers. Ones who know their art as well as the comic creators knew their art. Now, these tips are easier said than done, and no movie is perfect or without any complaints. However, if Hollywood takes these small precautions, there will likely be better movie adaptations of comics and graphic novels in the future, which is good for all of us.